used to be an early, sort of an early style ledger binding. It's got these strips of vellum were very frequently used to kind of, and the straps of extra leather were used to reinforce the binding, because the ledgers were open every day almost, continuously. The leather here is, of course, largely detached from what was the boards of the thing, and of course the leather did wrap around there and wrap around here and so on. So a good deal of the board has been, I don't know, peeled away or eaten or who knows what. You were worried about mold. I don't see mold, and I don't, you can't smell it, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think we're okay for mold wise. There's a little bit of water damage here, but it's clearly dried up years ago. And on the back, this is the cool part. On the back, for me anyway, I'm a nerd. These are called tackets, and they're again vellum, little strips of vellum, and they were used to attach the cover. The body of the book was sewn, of course. Let's have a look at that. Go inside here and see if we can see any stitching. It's pretty tightly sewn. It's in a really funny state, because it's the text has got all these dog ears which you could flatten out, but the sewing is in perfect condition, and considering all the writing that's gone in, all the times it's been opened and shuffled through, it's kind of remarkable that way. But anyway, so the book is sewn in signatures, right? Many signatures, it looks like, and then at some point, somewhere, different points in the thing across here, well, 5 points. Someone has put pulled strips of leather through the spine of the text and twisted them together while they were damp. When they dry, that's all they ever did. That's hundreds of years old, and it's just never budged because it's never gotten wet again.
No adhesive used? It's just it
dries. It was just a matter of twisting them tightly together. That vellum is amazing stuff. It has such weird properties. But you can see here that there's a vellum under. It was a vellum and leather combos to make the strap that went across, right? And that was again for reinforcing the strength of the hinges, really. And if these weren't here, then your hinges would have gone, probably much earlier. This one's been broken, but yeah, and who knows what this book has seen in the way of wear and tear. But and of course there would have been this is for a closure of some kind, right? So another strap to go around to the. And there's a little hole. There probably was, who knows what, some kind of pin there maybe. Can you see it? They have a little tiny hole there.
Now I've seen other holes as well, especially on the back that looked more like insect damage.
Oh, that could be, now that you mention it. Yeah, there we go. There's a few more here. So this maybe I'm on drugs there. Maybe that's not right. But but there would have been some other. Oh, here, very likely this strap, which is broken, would have perhaps come forward farther, and then this strap, which is also broken, they would have connected somehow.
And would that have made the clasp?
Yeah, some kind of, whether it probably might have been a pin in like a metal pin,
right,
in standing up here, and then that thing would hook over or right, something.
Tell us about the pattern stamped onto that.
Oh yeah, well, kind of, who knows, kind of free form, really, isn't it? I mean, obviously it was done before the straps were laid on, and frequently this was, depending on where this thing actually came from, what bindery in Europe or wherever it came from. This work would often be assigned to apprentices, who are learning how to do gold, because this is probably pre gold tooling, or before gold tooling was common, and gold tooling was never used that I'm aware of on these kind of ledger style bindings. These are very utilitarian bindings. So so this is done with a hot tool, a warm of the right temperature. You dampen your leather, and you run that across. And this probably would have been done freehand. Somebody, Joe that showed a bit of artistic flair. Let's give it to him to fool around with, type of thing. And or unless there was a bindery style, that we want this cross and a box around it. So, but very much thrown, slap down.
And so was all this done by rolling tool rather than a stamp?
A heated roller typically. These here probably would have been. Let me see how you can see how. We'll just see. It looks like there's another tool here, eh? Is that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Yeah,
what
there's
I'm
some device there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking that.
Could it be this? Could this one and this one?
Yeah,
match?
very likely. Maybe in the corners, or that kind of thing. Yeah, some of them have just disappeared. But You do get the occasional roll that's really wide, and so it could have been laid down, in one sort of swoop. But I have a feeling that this one was, you can see because this thing stops here and stops here, and so it was a roll, and with a long handle,
right.
And you heat it up, right. And then yes, this could have been done before the cover was attached to the book, or it could have been done while the cover was on. But there'd have been maybe a wide line and a narrow line, and then this might have been a separate punch, so a handheld stamp that you would tool down.
So they would use a roller to kind of define
the longer
space,
lines,
and then fill the space in with decorative.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. And so, there's one of there's that one and that one, and sometimes you can tell the bindery by the tools they used, because the tools would have been very limited. They wouldn't have had thousands of tools, not like the Birdsall collection or something like that. That would have been even inconceivable, I think, But they might have had one of those and one of these and a few others, and then that would have been their sort of decorative palette, for decorating these kind of things. I'd be so interested to know where this came from, like what country even it came from.
We know that the person compiling the Commonplace book was probably a Jesuit, or at least a Catholic. The thought is that he was compiling material for a treatise on moral theology.
Okay.
But the default assumption that he was in Britain, which would have been an interesting time to have been a Jesuit.
Oh yes, that is right. Oh my God, tricky.
Yeah, a lot of mysteries in this guy. Before we wrap, I wonder if you can tell us anything about how is this vellum strap being used to shape the binding?
Well, it's being used to attach this.
Okay.
That's all. It's cool that it still exists. You can see these little fragments. So you've pierced your cover, and you would have pierced it here and 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 here, etc. And you may even, if you peel away some of this material, which I'm not recommending, but here's some more up here. There's another bit of the vellum, and that was how those straps were attached. Yeah, so that's all it was. Yeah, and then presumably, okay. But this is, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Is this an end paper? No, not really.
No, somebody tore the first pages out of it.
That's a shame. Yeah. Let's look at the back. See if there's nothing too evident back here. It may never have had end papers. That's another thing. It may have been just this paper waste stuff, pasted together to make pasteboard.
Right.
And pasteboard was the stock in trade of these kind of this kind of work for a while, until more modern cardboard making technology came along.
So if this pasteboard was exposed, that would explain why it was inscribed on.
Yes, that's true, and it would be interesting to know how much has been lost back here and how much has been lost in the front. But yeah, you're right. This is written on, so very likely it was exposed, it's been exposed for a long time. Do you suppose this is the same kind of writing, same period as this?
I haven't studied it much yet, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, why
It
not?
looks,
Yeah.
The hand looks similar.
And if you, now this is something you're probably not allowed to do either, but if we took this pasteboard off and soaked it a lot, you could peel away the layers and see what
and
was
recover
in
the
it.
text. Yeah. I've done
not
that in
recommending
fantasy,
that,
but I'm not doing that. I don't think we're going to do that in the real world.
No. And there's all sorts of fantasies you can have. Yes, exactly. Honestly, these could be ironed out. We could, if you wanted to, but you may want to just leave them the way they are. I don't know.
Yeah, I think for the exhibition we'll leave it in the condition that it's in.
Yep.
Partly for time and partly just for the record that all the damage offers of the life that it
Indeed,
lived.
yeah. Yeah, it's really, really cool thing. Very, very cool.